When you don't understand something, that is exactly what you should say. I don't understand. Not I have a doubt. I have a doubt does not mean that you don't understand something. It basically means there is something that I do not believe 100%. So if someone tells you something and you reply, I have a doubt, you're not telling them that you don't understand what they said, you're telling them that you don't believe what they said. However, it's still not a very natural thing to say. So today I'm going to explain two things. First, what you should say when you don't understand something. And second, some of the most common ways that we do use the word doubt. So, like I said in the beginning, when we want to tell someone that we don't understand something, we usually just say, I don't understand. You can also say, there's something I don't understand, or I have a question. But again, we do not say, I have a doubt. And actually, you don't usually need to say any of those things. You can usually just ask the question. Now let's talk about doubt. Again, doubt is about not fully believing, not about not understanding. This can mean that you don't fully believe that something is true, and it can also mean that you don't fully believe that something will work or be good. So, how do we use the word doubt? First things first, sometimes it's a noun and sometimes it's a verb. As a verb, it's a regular verb, so the three forms are doubt, doubted, and doubted. And as a noun, it's sometimes used as a countable noun and it's sometimes used as an uncountable noun. Luckily, you don't really need to think about this because it's mostly used in phrases that are always said exactly the same way. So instead of worrying about grammar, all you have to do is write these phrases down exactly how I give them to you and practice using them. First, we have I have doubts. Doubts with an S. For example, I have doubts about this plan. This means there are reasons why I don't think it's a very good plan. I understand the plan, but I don't really believe that it's going to work. And obviously, in the past tense, it would be I had doubts. For example, I had doubts about her, but I was wrong. She's amazing. You can also include a possessive adjective like my, his, or her. For example, I had my doubts about her. Second, we have I doubt that followed by a subject and a verb. For example, I doubt that we'll get there on time. I doubt that he remembered to call her. Or, I doubt that this store has the tools we need. You'll also hear people say just, I doubt it, and I doubt that. I doubt it is mostly used when replying to yes-no questions. For example, if someone says, do you think it'll rain? You can reply, I doubt it. It's basically the same as saying, I don't think so. I doubt that is mostly used when replying to a statement. For example, if someone says, my team is going to win, and you think that the opposite is true, you can say, I doubt that. But you do need to be a little bit careful with this one because you're basically telling the other person that you think they're wrong. We also use doubt in negative phrases to say that we do believe something. For example, there's no doubt about it, which basically means I'm very confident that this is true. Or you can use there's no doubt that followed by a subject and a verb. For example, there's no doubt that he's the one who did it. There's also without a doubt. For example, she's without a doubt the best doctor I know. Or this is without a doubt my favorite restaurant. But you can also use without a doubt by itself as a reply. For example, if someone says, are you going to the wedding? You can reply, without a doubt. There's also just no doubt, which means exactly the same thing and is actually more common than without a doubt. But yeah, both of those basically just mean definitely. The last thing I want to add is that you'll also hear people talk about doubting themselves. This basically means that they're not confident or don't believe in their abilities. For example, his English isn't bad. The problem is just that he always doubts himself and doesn't speak up. Also, if that example sounds like you, I definitely recommend watching this video right here. And if you haven't yet, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications.